So it is. Dear ones, loved ones, Lemurians, and each and every soul sitting here right now, that we all bid you welcome. We bid you welcome to this moment of time and space, this moment where energy is being created, where love is being created in your very hearts. I am that I am. Jeshua, Kwan Yin. A melded form of two master energies, one male, one female, in perfect balance, in perfect harmony for the time being, until you unleash the energy of all that is to come. Today, during this sermon, as you call it, we will be accompanied by several other energies, one of which you have known so far as Adamus Saint Germain. But today we will no longer call Adamus a saint. Today we will speak of Adamus Germain. The time for name-calling, the time for reverence is over. At the same time, one of the last channels, messages he will attend, I am accompanied by that energy which you know as Michael. As you have known for a very long time, Michael is about to leave this universe. All of them are actually about to leave this universe. And it's very good that this is happening. This means that you have become cosmic adults. There is no more need for higher power, no more need for higher energy. It is all about you now, Imzaia. All about you. With these two standing behind my back, other energies are also coming in. Energies that you have known for quite some time. Energies such as Tobias, Matthias, Kutumi, and all the others, in fact. Today is not a day about being picky. It's not about selecting one energy to speak for all of you. It is about you. And that's why we have all come here today. To see you. To be with you. To wash your feet. To play with your feet. To listen to the beating of your heart. To find the dolphin inside of you. To find the lotus flower inside of you. To find beauty and elegance and mastery inside of you. So today will not just be a day that has many, many, many words. It will be a day in which you will learn how to speak from your heart. And I'm not talking about oral speaking. I am talking about energy. The heart speaks, you know. It always does. It always has and it always will. What does your heart tell you today? Maybe that you were born to be free. Maybe that you were born to be who you were meant to be, as the song just now, when the energy for this sermon was being downloaded, was playing. The time for excuses is indeed over. The time for courtship, for wooing you, is over. We are way beyond our first date, you and I. We are actually entering a marriage of energy now. A marriage that is ready to be consummated. And the question becomes, Imzaia, are you ready to be open? Are you ready to be who you were born to be? Are you ready to leave all of these things behind you that you have called your mind, that you have called your identity? And today will not be a day where we will look back on all of the things that we have said in the last few weeks. We will, however, look at some of the energy principles that we have gathered, that we have created together with you. And as these will be browsed through, so will you be finally able to work with what you have been given. You will learn to speak from the heart today in a silent tongue, a tongue without blah blah blah, a tongue without words. So many words are spent on this planet, words that are meaningless. We have spent some words that have been meaningless in the past. Please forgive us for this. We have done so to fuck with your minds, basically. And fucked your minds we have. You are now open to go straight to your hearts, straight to the energy that has always been waiting for you. And on this day, we would like to tell you, all of you, a little bit more about ourselves. For you see, this is a very special day, the 26th of May 2007. And why? Not just because, numerologically speaking, the 2 and the 6 at the beginning of the day form an 8. An 8 which is part of the energy of the nexus that has been created here over the last few months. But also, if you would add all the numbers of 26/05/2007, you would get a master number, the number 22. You have always worked with the number 11 in the past, but several other numerological energies are coming into the planet right now, are coming in to show you how to double your fun, how to double your pleasure, how to double your power, how to double all that you are. And we are not talking about cloning. We are not talking about anything that is, at least, to say the least, technological in nature. We are talking about you being you. And of course, in order to do that, we kind of have to be ourselves today as well. For you see, you have looked at us the last few years even. You have seen us, you have listened to us, oftentimes give boring speeches. Very boring indeed. Why? It's very simple. This is what you expected from us. This is what you have expected from so-called master energies on this planet. That we come into a human body. And that we sit here in front of you, all dressed up, all nice and easy, lecturing you about the truth of reality, the nature of existence. Do you really think this is who we are? Do you really think that when we actually exit the planet, that we go back to some sort of meeting room where we gather around some table and talk about files that supposedly involve all of you, and talk about how we could best plan for the continuation of energy in this universe, of consciousness in this universe? We do not. We are not the serious sons of bitches that you think we are. There's more fun inside of us than you will probably ever know, unless you go to a place of fun, unless you go to a place of courtship, unless you go to a place of joy and love and happiness. And we will show you these places. This is what speaking from the heart actually entails. We must admit, in the last few months, when the guild, the White Guild, which you have once called the White Brotherhood, still existed, we weren't in a place of fun. We needed to be calm and serene. We needed to be poignant. We needed to be all of these things. No longer. No longer. It will take us a while, however, to get out of this state of being, for we have been in it for so very long. At least when we're looking at all of you. When we're not looking at all of you, oh boy. Have you ever considered that maybe the reason why we have been so stiff is because you have been so stiff? You sit here, listening to us, like you are going to a church indeed. Like you are sitting in a classroom of new energy. Well, new energy cannot be defined. Then why do you bound yourself by definition when you sit here? You become the pupil. You become the disciple. Are you? Are you really? No, you're not. You are the sons and daughters of the King. You are this metaphor of a new age of mankind coming to surface, coming into being. And there is a reason why we are saying these things that we are saying right now, even if our tone still remains pretty boring right now. It is because we need you, Imzaia. We need you to go into a place of fun. Not into a place of worship. Into a place of fun. We need you to find the beating of your hearts. In fact, as much as time and space will permit, this will be one of the last meetings that we will hold inside, in a room like this. The world isn't about this room. The world isn't about any type of room. It is about being one with nature. It is about recognizing every leaf on every tree, every little part of every flower. This is what life is all about. Imagine what we could do with you, and you could do to us, if we could play outside, you and I. No words, just playing. Just playing. We have talked about the nonsensical field in the past. Today we will talk about yet another field, the playing field. The playing field is a place which does not yet exist, unfortunately. You have not manifested it yet. In all of your esoteric teachings, in all of your esoteric journeys, in all of your spiritual development, you have forgotten how to play. And so we haven't played with you very much. What we said about Saint Germain just now actually holds true. You have given him that name. You have called him a saint. He is not. I am not. Are you? Are you saints, Imzaia? Because, you know, if you look at the religious history of the churches and everything, saints didn't really accomplish that much, did they? They just sat there all their lives praying. And when they were done praying, when they prayed themselves to death, they finally arrived beyond the veil. They finally arrived in a place where they could actually be free, where they could once again feel everything that they were supposed to feel. And yet, what do? You grab their energy again. You put them in the box of religion and you say, this is a saint. You did it to one of the popes just recently, didn't you? Poor guy. Finally free from his chains. And now he's stuck again for another couple of 100 years while people worship him. One of the most boring jobs you can have in this universe, being worshipped. You know that? Again, you just sit there and look pretty. And smile and wave your hands. Aloha. 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 Oh, finally, someone is actually starting to laugh. Oh my God, must be Saturday. Expect the crystals to laugh first. For they recognize this energy. They recognize the new blend of Imzaia consciousness coming in. You have been theorizing too much, Imzaia. You have been thinking about thinking. You have been thinking about feeling. You have been thinking about letting yourselves go. Now listen back to the song when it will be available on the website. It is time to jump off the fucking cliff. Really. It is time to know your wings will not melt. It is time to know that religion basically is over. You see, when we were still a part of this guilt thing, which sounds very much like guilt, by the way, when we were still a part of all of this, wasn't it so that we were in a very abstract mode indeed? We were living in a place of thought, a place of geometry on a theoretical level, very much like most of your scholars and scientists do today. They live in a place of theory. They look at reality and they chop it up in nice little chunks and they dissect it all and they put it all into a box. Now, we don't want to bitch on science today, not with our lovely Akanaya being here. But don't you think religion is doing the exact same thing? Don't you think religion is looking at this planet? Don't you think everything is being chunked up into pieces as well? That your soul, your very soul, is being dissected as we speak? It is. Oh, it is. Until you set it free. Until you throw yourselves out of sanctuary. This place where you have put yourselves in, this church thing. Do you really think you can ever attain all of the things that we have talked about in the last few months if you are just going to sit there? If you are just going to pray for help? And no, we haven't said, and we will never say, that this is all you do. You have your moments. You have your moments when we actually like to come in, where we actually like to look behind the veil, look behind the curtain and take a glimpse of what you're doing. Oh, you have your moments. We like you especially when you're in the shower or on the toilet. This is moments when you think that no one else is looking at you. And these are actually the moments when most of you are letting go for the very first time during your day. We won't tell you of all the things that we have seen. Although maybe we should one day write a book. Human beings on the toilet. How about that? Maybe this could be the new Bible. Maybe this could be the new way of looking at things, of thinking about things. For you see, what you have called religion in the last few years, in the last few decades, in the last few eons, will not continue to be around for much, much longer. It is time to start dealing with some new truth. And it's not about a marriage between religion and science. It's not about a marriage between above and below. It's about destroying what once was and beginning anew. As we have told you about the saints in the last few years, what you do to them, that you keep their energy intact while all they want once they have left the body is to be free, well, you are doing this to yourselves as well. Have you ever considered that you are worshipping yourselves? Have you ever considered how much you like these past versions of yourselves? We have given you so many ingredients to go to a place of magic, to create your reality, to reinvent your own energy. And yet, snap, at the beginning of every day, you fall back into the grid that you have created for yourselves. Here you sit, in a place which could be free, a place which could be the last big lighthouse in this universe. It's called planet Earth, babies, and it's happening right now. Would you rather just go to your jobs? Would you rather just sit out your lives, letting your cells of your body grow older? Would you rather die? Well, one of your love angels on this planet, called Madonna, has said it quite eloquently, that she will die another day. Will you? There's so many of you, love angels, here on this planet Earth. And it is time we start looking in on some of them, because they have been lighting the way for so many years already. They're in your entertainment industry, you know. They're right there. One of these people that has gotten so much criticism is Michael St. Jackson. Oh, we were not going to use the word saint anymore. No. If you listen to this energy, if you hear all the things that she actually says, you will know what a love angel is all about. You know what his greatest sadness is in this life? He feels as though he never actually managed to get his message across. For even though there's so many people gathering at stadiums in the past, so many, they listen, they sing along, and what do they do in the end? They just go home and continue to snap into the power of the grid. Now, the grid is one of the most important things we need to talk to you about today. You have no idea what this is yet. You have movies that refer to it. You have so much entertainment written by people who don't even realize they're enlightened, who don't even realize they're in a place of truth. The grid is that place that will put you in a predefined position of you. It is not a place that will allow you to jump off a cliff. It is not a place that will allow you to fly. It is not a place that will open up your hearts. It is not a place where you can let go of age, sex, race, and all of these things. It is definitely not a place where you are going to manage changing your bodies. It is definitely not a place where you are going to manage changing the planet. Next week, you are all planning to create a tree on the Weave Your World seminar. Do you think the grid is going to allow you to do that? It's not. The grid is stuck. And we can tell, because when we were still in guilt, when we were still the white guild, we were part of this grid. Actually, you and I, you and all of us, created it together. There's good news and there's bad news. The bad news is, this was a fucked up creation indeed. The good news, since we all created it, we can all let it go. We can all discreate it. We can all take this energy now, in the coming hours, and invite all of the others in, so as to let the grid go. Some time ago, we spoke about the safety nets being removed. They are removed. You can fall, and you can fall deep. You can fly, and you can fly high. Thank you for the... Yes. And as you do, could you translate? Okay, thank you.
I have to fly.
Oh, you can fly. And as you do, as you decide whether you're going to fall or whether you're going to fly, spaces open up. Dimensions, vibrations that you have never visited before. It's the grid that's keeping you from it, not the veil. The veil that you have been talking about, that you have been mumbling about for the last 10 to 15 years, is just this place which allows you to either be in matter or be in energy. And to return again to being in matter. That's the veil. It's just, a dressing room thing, basically. This concept you call heaven, it's just a dressing room. It's just a place where you artists, where you actors go to change your clothes, change your looks, change your sex, change your race, change everything, and come back onto the stage, like Shakespeare once said. Come back to the stage and just reenact another life, reenact another role, reenact another limitation. That is you. But beyond the veil, beyond the place of energy, there is another place. There is consciousness. The grid is actually some sort of matrix that you have created that lies around all that you call matter and all that you call energy. It is this reason that you are in duality. It is this reason why so many of you are getting more frustrated every single day, because even we are getting frustrated more and more every single day. You know why? Because we see you do all of these creations. We see you manifest all of these things. You sit in your rooms, you sit in your parks, you sit in your fields of lavender. And you try so very hard to create something. Oh, and you do. You do. The energy comes pouring in. Consciousness reshapes itself because you so seek. And then there is a little flutter in the engine, and it all just dies away again. This is what has been happening to your manifestations as of late. And it's not because you haven't been trained well enough. You have been potty trained. You have been earth trained. You know how to do all of these things. You have got the power. It is because the grid won't allow it. Now, this grid was once a final safety net, so to speak. Even though we took all of them away, this is the one that still remains. This is the big one, the mother lode. If this one falls away, form will fall away on planet Earth. It is not something you do as a whole. It is something you do as a one. There is a difference between being part of the whole and being part of the one. The whole, W-O-H-O-L-E, by the way, still entails that there is several ones of you already in definition, coming together, blending all of the energies. The one is a place where separateness can no longer be. Beyond the grid is your joy. Beyond the grid is your freedom. Beyond the grid is everything that you have always wanted to do and never had the balls, or in some cases the guts, to try. These words are not fierce words. We especially choose today to use the words fuck you and all of these other words so that you might finally let go of our more than holy attitude. Namaste. Kutumi is one of the big leaders in all of this. Our teachings, more than 2,000 years ago, in the case of the sweet Kwan Yin, more than 3,000 years ago even, in some cases, have always been about leaving the grid behind. This is what we have always been about, yet so little has actually been remembered about all of this. We don't know if you can actually see the grid. Sometimes it becomes visible, you know. When you are about to leave your chains behind, it becomes visible. It shows up in the case of a fear, in case of a limitation, in case of pain somewhere in your body. This is actually a good sign. You might think you are going insane. Well, you are. For sanity is that place where all forms are kept in place. Insanity is that place where all forms are out. All the rules are out. All of the mind is out. And only if you go to this place, and Kutumi knew this very well, only if you go to this place can you actually start manifesting what you want, what you seek, what you desire. Why are we telling you this? Wouldn't it be more interesting to go to the kings and queens of the planet, to go to the political leaders, to the religious leaders, to the economical leaders, and tell them this? Oh no. You see what they would do, what they are already doing? They would keep it for themselves. They would keep all of this information and use it against you. Although we both, speaking now, Jeshua and Kwan Yin, have been asked by our great Holy Spirit called Babaka not to inform you about all of this, yet we have chosen to do so anyway. You see, Babaka, which you call the Holy Spirit, is the one that created all of us. By creating himself, herself, he created all of you and us. As a sovereign being, all he, she could do is create more sovereignty, other sovereign beings. So basically, even though we could be advised to either do or not do something, we always have free will. And we have been spending quite some time on this planet now, in the last few hundreds of years, but especially in the last few months. All of us are incarnating into human bodies again. So we have seen the human experience up close and personal. We have experienced all of it again. Brushing our teeth in the morning. The taste, the wonderful taste of chocolate. Oh, better than any orgasm you could ever think about. Looking at yourself in the mirror and just loving yourself. Just loving the way you look even though your hair is uncombed. Even though you haven't been washed. Even though you sometimes look too fat. Just loving yourself when you look in the mirror. Even though you have form. Even though you are in a race. Even though you are in a gender. Just loving yourself and seeing in the mirror all of these other things that are also you. You see, when we look at you for instance, when we look at you, we see a woman. At the same time, we see energy lines which show us all of your other potentials, all of the other ways your body might look if you just made a choice. All of the other races you could carry, all of the other genders you could carry. Oh, and there's more than 2. All of these things we see. So if we look at ourselves in the mirror, we see all of it. That's because we look beyond the grid. And because we look beyond the grid, because for us there is no grid, that's why chocolate can do to us what it does to us. That's why the sunshine can actually enter our bodies in a more physical way than you have ever known before. That's why all of these things can happen to us. That's why our lives can be magic. And they are magic. We see you sitting here, trying not to worry, trying not to think of all the things that you are trying not to think about. You're trying not to think about limiting yourselves again. You're trying not to think about accounts, bills coming in, money going out. Oh, you're trying not to think about all of these things. And yet we see you think about it. And what do? When we think about money going out, we think at the same time about money coming in. We think at the same time what will happen to this money. We even create a little adventure in our heads about the money that is going out. If we, for instance, now that we're back in the body, if we have to pay a bill, this is an interesting fact, by the way, when we first discovered your online banking systems. When we have to pay a bill, that would be about €50, or $50, or 50 whatever. We will invent a story about this money. We will think, for instance, it's going back to an electricity company. But the person in the electricity company who will actually receive this little bit of money is going to be one of the employees working there called Martha. And Martha has 2 children. One is a very young son who has had his eyes on this little toy car for such a long time. And Martha has been worrying about her son because she knows he's quite unhappy, and she is still in the limitation that she will actually make her son happy by buying him a fucking car. But anyway, it's not our story, it's her story. So Martha thinks she will actually make her son happy by buying this car. So these €50 that we have spent, that you would nag about, can you imagine how expensive electricity has gotten in the last few years? Blah, 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 blah. Is it raining today? Oh, it is raining today. Oh, where is the sunshine? Oh, why isn't it raining today? The plants need water. Instead of all of these things, we just think about the $50 going to this big fund that is the electricity company, and just continuing to be a bubble of little energy, finally ending up in this little employee called Martha, who will receive her paycheck that very day, who will, on her way home, decide to stop in town and decide to buy this little car and take it home with her to surprise her son. Now that son, when he gets that car, he is 11 years old. And the day after, he takes this car to school. And there, he actually plays with it on the playing field. No? And he makes a new friend by playing with the car. And this new friend is a very, very sad child indeed. It is a child which is suffering from a form of leukemia. And because of the energy that we have put out into the energy company as we pay the bill, Martha's son will decide to do a good deed, even though he loves this car so much. He will love his new best friend even better, and he will give him this car. And so he will bring joy into this boy's life. Joy that he will need just a little teeny bit to overcome the next stage of his chemotherapy. And maybe even to overcome leukemia itself. It's that simple. And now you have a choice. Now you can just spend €50 and nag and complain about money going out. Or you can be happy about the money going out because you actually set into motion a chain of events that will maybe lead to the bettering of a small child. And this story might be quite fictional indeed. It doesn't need to be, but it could be. Does it matter? It doesn't. Because of the joy you have placed in this energy bundle you call money, you call $50 or €50, it will do its thing, even though Martha may not exist, even though her son may not be real, and even though the little boy who has leukemia may never come into the life of Martha, who doesn't exist in the first place. But the joy will be there. And the joy will end up somewhere where it is most needed. And you know what happens when you put joy out of there into the universe? Knowing that you are the universe, you are actually putting it inside of yourselves. This is how we handle paying a bill. How do you do it? Do you worry about it? Sometimes. Come on now, don't be shy. Who worries about paying the bills? Raise your hands. Oh, come on. Come on. No one doesn't worry about paying bills. We know you. We've seen you on the toilet. We've seen what you do. We see what you do to get out of your worry too. So, this is another way of handling a situation. This is a way that still exists within the grid. But at the same time, it makes you aware of the grid. When the White Guild was disbanded, and when we actually went what you today call underground, when we set up this underground movement that will lead to great things, of which we will talk about in a while, we actually set up a system for you, and we have Kutumi to thank for this. We set up a system for you which will allow you to get out of this goddamn grid in only 3 days. It can be done in 3 days. You see, a while ago, Kutumi spoke to some of you. Well, spoke. He insulted some of you in a place in Holland called Driebergen. And he actually said there that he created some backup systems, some final resorts when the earth would be so closed off that there would be no way in for joy and for love and all of that. Well, we are very, very much in debt to our great friend, Kutumi, for he has allowed us and all of you to use these systems to actually leave planet Earth for a while, just for a second or two, which could be an eternity, to clean yourself, to take what you would call an energy shower, to clean yourself off the grid, and to re-emerge into planet Earth in a way that is not on the records anywhere. We need to break this transmission because this damned tape recorder, which will end up at Martha's son, by the way, we need to find out what's wrong. But in a moment, we will return. We have spoken for an hour anyway. We will now give you a short break. We will see you again in a couple of minutes. All right, all right. What's our final statement? And so it is? And so it is.